Looks like Spider-Man is back in the game. Hey everybody, welcome back to The Turnout, brought to you by USAaudiences.com. I'm your host, Aloy. I don't know about you, but this week has been a crazy roller coaster of emotions when the announcements came that Spider-Man was going to be leaving the MCU because Sony and Marvel could not come to a deal. And there were a lot of stories that were circulating about how it was all Marvel's fault and all kinds of stuff. But essentially, they were back in negotiations because they had already done all the movies that they had agreed to for Spider-Man. And of course, Disney and Marvel came back and said, well, before we were getting 5% of the money, but we want 50%. Now, immediately I was like, they're never gonna take that. And then, of course, they were like, no. And the news that came out was that because of that, and because neither side wanted to budge on that, Sony reportedly didn't even come back with a counteroffer. It was just, hey, Spider-Man is no longer in the MCU. Sony now has to go and create its brand new own universe, or continue with Tom Holland, but have to do those movies without any reference to the MCU. I don't see how they could have done that, but we have learned today is that all of that is not real anymore, and Spider-Man is back in the MCU. Tom Holland has signed to a 7-movie deal. Wow. Which involves a 3rd movie to finish off high school, and then another trilogy coming after that to start the teenage years. And here's the coolest part, is that in the teenage years, that's where Spider-Man is going to end up meeting Firestar and Iceman. Yes, it is true, we are going to have Spider-Man and his amazing friends in the MCU. I don't know if you guys know that old cartoon, but that was where I fell in love with Iceman. Iceman is my favorite X-Men because of Spider-Man and his amazing friends. I always thought he was so cool. In addition to the new deal, it looks like Disney is now going to get a 30% stake. So now it's 70-30 instead of like 95-5, and instead of the 50-50 that Marvel was looking for. But you know what? 70-30 is good, and I think that it's going to be good for both sides. It also was reported that their stocks of both companies fell when that did not happen, when they were not able to come to that agreement. So it was definitely in their best interest to make that happen. But the addition to that, though, is that now Venom and other Spider-Man characters can now be used in the MCU, so we'll have to see what they do with that. It also is going to apply this deal for any future Spider-Man, Spider-Verse movies, or anything that Sony wants to do. It's just, honestly, I think it's really cool. It means that the two companies really are trying to work as well together as they can to make this a success, and for it to be financially feasible for both parties. Like, so I understand that, like, hey, like, Marvel wants to make more money. Cool. I mean, they had all the merchandising rights, so they were making hand over fist money on Spider-Man. But at the same time, they're like, hey, we want more of the box office. But to bump it up that much, like, yes, negotiations, you're supposed to come in high and then, you know, you get talked down low, but sometimes you can get too high and then it's almost an insult. Negotiation is a weird thing. But anyway, I was pretty excited about this news, so that's why I wanted to throw this quick video together for you this morning. Let me know what you guys all think. Are you excited that Spider-Man is going to continue being in the MCU? Are you excited about Spider-Man and his amazing friends? Because I think that's the biggest news that I was super excited about. Anyway, let me know down in the comments. We can continue the discussion there. Otherwise, don't forget to follow us on Twitter. That's at @TheTurnoutUSAA. And hit up USAaudiences.com for special event and movie screening invites. Otherwise, I've been your host, Aloy. This has been The Turnout. Thanks for showing up.